Very good morning students, this is your Prasanna Ma'am from NEET World. So today we are going to exercise the most advanced questions from phytohormones, from where we can expect a definite question in our final NEET examination, where phytohormones or plant hormones stand as the hub from plant growth and development, where we can expect a definite question beta. So let's get started without much delay about phytohormones questionnaire practice. So if we have to look into the first question, which of the following plant growth regulators are categorized as plant growth promoters? We all know phytohormones are of two types. One set of phytohormones comes under plant growth promoters and the next set, that is plant growth inhibitors. Plant growth promoters include auxin, cytokinin and gibberellins, right? Plant growth inhibitors include abscisic acid, whereas ethylene will sometimes function as plant growth promoters, and at times like fruit ripening and senescence it will act as plant growth inhibitor also. So yes, here the question is about plant growth promoters. So what are plant growth promoters here? Auxin, gibberellic acid and cytokinin. Option A will be the right answer. Next question you look into ma. Yeah, the plant growth regulators which play an important role in plant responses to wound and stress, okay, to wounds and stress of both biotic and abiotic origin, and also involved in various inhibiting activities such as dormancy and abscission. They are called as what? Okay. So he is asking you about plant growth regulators which will respond to wound and stress, both abiotic and biotic stresses, in various growth inhibiting activities, both in promoting dormancy and abscission. So here comes, obviously abscisic acid will come into our mind because it is the stress hormone. So along with the abscisic acid, as he has mentioned abscission and dormancy, we can also look into ethylene. So here our right answer will be what ma? Abscisic acid and ethylene. Clear, right beta? Next question. Here you look into, during mid 1960s we have three independent researchers. During mid 1960s, three independent researchers reported purification and chemical characterization of three different kinds of inhibitors. Those are inhibitor B, abscissin 2 and dormin. Okay. Later all three were proved to be chemically identical or similar. It was named as what? Abscisic acid. Abscisic acid is discovered by three different scientists, okay, and they have named it differently, like inhibitor B, abscissin 2 and dormin. Later it is named as what? Abscisic acid. Next, as all those three are chemically identical, it is identified as what phytohormone? Abscisic acid. Next, the discovery of each of the five major groups of plant growth regulators, those are auxin, gibberellic acid, cytokinin, ABA and ethylene, they have been accidental. All this started with the observation of what? So who started the discovery of phytohormones, or who started the experiment on phytohormones? The very first plant growth promoter that we study is auxin. Okay, about auxin, who gave us the first experiment? That is Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin, who conducted the sequential experiments on oat seedlings. Okay, on oat seedlings. Fine. Avena curvature test. Okay, so that is option D over here, right ma? Next question you look into, which one is paired incorrectly, he is asking. Okay, incorrect pair over here. So auxin is isolated from human urine, that is correct only. Indole acetic acid isolated from human urine. Zeatin isolated from kernels and coconut milk, which is the natural cytokinin. This match is also correct. Next, gibberellins isolated from fungus, Gibberella fujikuroi. Yes, this is also true. Gibberellins are being isolated from the fungus Gibberella fujikuroi. Next, abscisic acid, they are isolated from ripened oranges. Wrong. Which phytohormone is isolated from ripened oranges? It is ethylene. Ethylene is being isolated from ripened oranges. It is not abscisic acid. Okay, it is not abscisic acid. Fine, ma. Next question. So here you look into assertion and reason type of question. So assertion and reason type of question, if you see, auxin was isolated by FW went from the tips of coleoptiles of wheat seedlings. Wrong. Okay, it is not from wheat seedlings. These are the FW went has conducted the experiment from the tip of coleoptiles. Those are what seedlings? Oat seedlings, not wheat seedlings. Okay, and next, the coleoptiles of canary grass responded to unilateral elimination by growing away from the light source. Wrong. They have grown, the response is towards the coleoptiles response is towards the light, not away from the light. Okay. So here assertion is wrong and reason is also wrong. What option we have to choose, ma? Both A and R are false. Clear? Next question. Look at this. 6-furfuryl aminopurine and 2,4-dichlorophenolic acid and indole 3-acetic acid. These three are the chemical names, okay, IUPAC names of what phytohormones? 6-furfuryl aminopurine, it is about what? Kinetin, okay, kinetin, which is synthetic cytokinin. 2,4-dichlorophenolic acid, that is synthetic auxin, which is used as weedicide. Next, indole 3-acetic acid is a natural auxin. Okay, indole 3-acetic acid is a natural auxin. So here what option will be correct, ma? Option D will be the right answer. Next to this question you look into decapitation, that is removal of shoot tips in a plant is usually results in what? Okay, decapitation or removal of shoot tips in plant, this usually results in what? When the tips of the shoot, when shoot tips are being removed, it results in removal of apical dominance. Okay, apical dominance will be inactivated by removal of shoot tips, whereby there will be huge growth of lateral buds. Okay, where the action of cytokinin will go unaffected and lateral buds formation will be formed. So there will be huge growth of what? Lateral buds. Option B will be right over here. When decapitation or removal of shoot tips is done, apical dominance will be inhibited and lateral growth formation will happen. So here we have to recall one point, that auxin and cytokinin are antagonistic to each other. They are antagonistic to each other with respect to apical dominance. With respect to apical dominance, they are antagonistic to each other. Apical dominance, fine, they are antagonistic to each other, wherein auxin will promote the apical dominance, cytokinin will inhibit the apical dominance by promoting the growth of lateral buds. By promoting the growth of lateral buds. Clear, right, ma? Next. Yeah, the question is about cytokinin. Cytokinin is a hormone whose major function is in induction of the cell division. Yes, cytokinin, the name itself is saying that the phytohormone is primarily involved in cell division. This is correct only. It is the process of cell division, true. Refers to the cell movements. No, it is not about the process of cell division. It does not refer to cell movements. It does not cause seed dormancy. So, it is a hormone whose main function is induction of cell division. Here option A will go correct, ma. Next question you look into, match column 1 and column 2. Okay, and select the correct option from the quotes given below. First, about indole acetic acid, IAA. indole acetic acid or auxin. Auxin is usually called as shooting hormone ma. Auxin is usually called as shooting hormone. And cytokinin as, sorry, auxin is usually called as rooting hormone and cytokinin as shooting hormone. Shooting hormone. So here auxin, which is also called as rooting hormone, because its mode of action will be mostly in the roots, whereas the synthesis of auxin will be mostly taking place in shoot apices. Remember that beta. Okay. Same the case with cytokinins. Synthesis of cytokinins will be highly in the roots, root apices. Fine. And it is also called as shooting hormone. So here IAA, indole acetic acid, this is produced, the source of IAA will be mostly shoot apices, cytokinin is at root apices, ethylene will be from the tissues which are undergoing senescence. So here A will be 3 and sorry A will be 2 and B will be 3, C will be 1. Option A will be the right answer. Clear, right ma? Any doubts anywhere? No, right? Now match column 1 and column 2. Again match the following type of questions and select the correct option from the given codes. So look at here properly, auxin and cytokinin. Auxin, of course, it is involved in what movements? Phototrophic movements, yes or no? So auxin, we can go with option 2 over here. Okay, auxin is involved in phototrophism or phototrophic movements. Next, cytokinins. Cytokinins are involved in the growth of lateral buds. Just now we have seen, okay, cytokinins are involved in the growth of lateral buds. Abscisic acid is antagonistic to gibberellic acid. Okay, we have learnt that with regards to apical dominance, auxin and cytokinin are antagonistic to each other, whereas with regards to seed dormancy, okay, seed dormancy, auxin and cytokinin are antagonistic to each other. Okay, auxin and cytokinin are antagonistic to each other. Next, ethylene, if you see, ethylene is primarily involved in fruit ripening. So here A will be 2 and B is 4, C will be 3, abscisic acid antagonistic to gibberellic acid, where abscisic acid will be promoting the seed dormancy, gibberellic acid will be inhibiting seed dormancy and it will be promoting the seed germination. Clear, right ma? Fine. Whereas it is promoting what? Seed germination. So here C will be 3 and D is 1. Option B will be the right answer. Okay. So take down this. I think this is not clear to you. Let me give you this. So with respect to seed dormancy, okay, abscisic acid is antagonistic to gibberellic acid, where abscisic acid is promoting seed dormancy, gibberellic acid is inhibiting seed dormancy, gibberellic acid will be promoting seed germination. Take it down ma. Clear, right? Next, which one is not correctly matched? What is not correctly matched over here? Cytokinin, cell division, indole acetic acid, it is involved in cell elongation, correct only. Abscisic acid, which is the stress hormone, primary function it does is stomatal closure. Next, gibberellic acid is not involved in leaf fall. This is primarily involved in elongation. Okay, it is primarily involved in increase in the length or elongation. So here incorrect option he has asked, which is not correctly matched. Then our answer should be option D. Next, this question you look into, ma, what would happen if rotten fruit gets mixed with unripe fruits? Okay, rotten fruit mixed with unripe fruits, what happens? The rotten fruit will be releasing out which phytohormone? Ethylene. With the help of ethylene, the unripe fruits will get ripened. So it hastens the ripening of unripe fruits. Next question. This one you look into. Which of the following physiological effects is caused in the plants by gibberellic acid? Okay, gibberellic acid is primarily involved in what, ma? Elongation or increase in the length of the axis, which is nothing but elongation of genetically dwarf plants, that is option B. Okay, so gibberellic acid is primarily involved in what? Increase or elongation of genetically dwarf plants. Next, look at this. Select the correct statements regarding auxin. Okay, auxin will promote root growth only at extremely low concentration and they inhibit root growth at high concentration. True. When we learned the intro of phytohormones, they are active only at low concentrations. Their function or activity will be inhibited when they are at high concentrations. So here option A will be wrong, sorry, A will be correct because they are active extremely at low temperatures or extremely at low concentrations. Here you see concentration of auxin, which is inhibitory to root growth, causes initiation of adventitious roots. True. From the nodes or basal regions of the stem. Correct. Concentration of auxin, which is inhibitory to root growth, causes initiation of adventitious roots from the nodes of basal region of the stem. Auxin will be initiating the growth of adventitious roots at the stem cuttings. Okay, so this goes correct. Auxins such as NAA and IBA, indole butyric acid and naphthalene acetic acid, are used to induce rooting in the stem cuttings. True. So here all of these statements are correct only. Okay. Next, this you see, read the following statements and find out the incorrect statement. So here the question is about what? Incorrect statement. Whenever statement based question is given, look into that properly whether he is asking you to identify incorrect statement or correct statement. So here if you see, auxin initiates flowering in pineapples and ethylene promotes the flowering in pineapples. Okay, so auxin will not initiate flowering in pineapples. This is the role of what? Ethylenes only. So this can be considered as wrong statement, but then we will look into other three statements also. 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid is used as weedicide. Okay, this is used to prepare weed free lawns by gardeners. This will be right only. There are more than 100 gibberellins reported from widely different organisms such as fungi and higher plants. All gibberellic acids are acidic. Yes. Next, the ability of gibberellic acids to cause increase in the length of the axis is used to increase the length of grape stalks. True. So what is the incorrect statement over here? Option A. Next question you look into, ma. Auxin helps, assertion reason type of question. Auxin helps to prevent fruits and leaf drop at early stages. Yes, auxin will prevent the early abscission. Okay, so here assertion is true. In reason, auxin promotes abscission of older and mature leaves and fruits. Correct. So auxin will prevent the fruit or leaf fall in the early stages and it promotes at the mature stages. So here both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. It is clearly explaining that auxin will induce the abscission only when the leaves and fruits are mature. Okay. Again one assertion reason type of question, look into that carefully. In assertion, the most widely used compound as the source of ethylene is ethaphone. Okay, correct. In reason, why we are using ethaphone? Ethaphone will hasten the fruit ripening in tomatoes, apples and accelerates the abscission in stems and leaves. True. Okay. So, here both A and R are true, and in reason it is clearly explaining why ethaphone will hasten the fruit ripening in tomatoes. So, here option A again, that both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Next. Yeah, this is about absolute growth rate and relative growth rate. First, let us recall the absolute growth rate formula and relative growth rate formula. First, absolute growth rate. It is final size minus initial size. This is the absolute growth rate. Relative growth rate will be final size minus initial size by initial size into 100. Let us calculate. Okay. First, two leaves A and B of different sizes, but show an absolute increase in the area in the unit time of given leaves like A to A1 and B to B1. Find out the absolute growth and relative growth rates of both of them. So, here in this column, absolute growth rate of A he has asked. Final size minus initial size, 10 minus 5 it is 5 centimeter square. So, where is it 5 centimeter square? We can mark these three, right ma? And this you see absolute growth of B, 55 minus 5 minus 50, again here 5 centimeter square. Okay. So, this will be the absolute growth rate here, again here 5 and 5, we can choose these options C and D. Now comes the relative growth rate of A is asking. Relative growth rate of A, how you will calculate ma? Final size minus initial size, 10 minus 5 by 5 into 100. Okay. So, here 5 gets cancelled over here and it is 100%, 100% of the relative growth. And here if you see ma, final minus initial, that is 5 by 50 into 100 it will be. So, 5 2s are, it will be 10%. So, it is option D. Option D will be the right answer over here. Clear, right, till here? So, absolute growth rate and relative growth rate are very much important concepts actually. Definitely we can expect a question from here. And look at here, match the following type of question again. Auxin. Auxin is involved in what amongst these functions? It is involved in xylem differentiation, that is option 3. Next, cytokinin is involved in cell division and nutrient mobilization, that is option 4. Ethylene is involved in root hair formation. When we look into ethylene's triple response, ethylene is involved in what? Root hair formation, that is 1. Abscisic acid is involved in seed development, that is option 2. So, here A is 3, B is 4, C is 1 and D is 2. Option A will be the right answer over here. Okay. Next. So, this will be the last question, this is the last question of this session, and so with this we have completed plant growth and development on whole. The next session we will be starting the core botany concepts and we will be exercising accordingly. Okay. So, I would like to end this session by giving you a brief account on the NEET World's special programs. Here in NEET World we have 2 steps to medicine for 11th standard students who are aspiring for NEET 2027, and we have NEET World's 1 step to medicine for the students who are targeting for NEET 2026 12th standard students, NEET World's Power Step to Medicine for the students who are joining in the long term. So, all these 3 programs will be with the minimal fee of 3333 per month with complete study materials and 2 master revision strokes also. So, to know more about these programs, you can call us to the given number or you can directly visit our branch which is in Narayanguda, Hyderabad. Thank you, stay tuned.